Okay, today we're gonna go over The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. I really haven't read much of Robert Frost, but what I do know I have enjoyed, so maybe this will inspire me to pick up an entire collection of his work. But this is, I would say, his most famous work because this is one of the ones that I've heard of just through in passing. You hear that common phrase, take the road less traveled. That's straight from Robert Frost. Well, it's probably a colloquial saying from centuries before, the passed down oral tradition. But anyway, we'll get into it. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for the passing there, that borne them really about the same, and both that the morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and it has made all the difference. So I feel like the message in this is pretty clear. Um, we can analyze this top part, but I think the bottom is the most important, and we'll circle back. But essentially, what Robert Frost is telling you to do is to take the road less traveled. Essentially, that's the message of this. And what does he mean by that? It's not obviously, you come into a fork in the road, always take the road less traveled. No, that the road might be laid out in a certain way for a certain reason because it might get you there quicker, but it's more of a spiritual guidance. It's more of guidance on what to do in your life. And it's all about what you really want to do. It's all about taking the path in which you find for yourself. It's all about not following the actions and the steps that were laid out in front of you. Think about it this way. Most of your decisions in your life were done for somebody else. And that's why most of us struggle to live our day-to-day lives and find happiness, find fulfillment, find the things that we're looking for. It's because we're doing things not for ourselves, we're doing things for others. I am myself guilty of this in so many ways. I went to school, I went to grad school, I did all these things because I thought it would be good for me, because I thought the people in my life knew what I wanted. They knew me, they saw something I'd be good at, but in truth, I was just taking the safe path. I was taking the safe option. I was doing the things that I thought would bring me worldly happiness. I thought would bring me worldly fulfillment and, you know, give me the success and the recognition and everything that I really wanted from society. But at a certain point, you'll realize that the safe path is not the safe path, in fact, because it might be safe in terms of you're materially provided for and all the things, but you're spiritually hollow. The job you have that you don't enjoy, you lack the depth, you lack the sincerity, you don't enjoy your daily life. And why do we do this? Why do we fall victim to peer pressure? Why do we fall victim to the collective and the crowd? And it's because we don't have the conviction. It's because we don't have the strength to follow our own destination. Who cares if we get there at a slower pace if we do it our own way? Why does it matter what other people say about us? Why does it matter what the crowd or other people think if we know in our heart that we are correct? If we know deep inside our soul that the path, the one that we want to travel, even though it's less traveled, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to take that risk. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to put my best foot forward. Because in the end, if you take the road that is more traveled, in the end, if you take the safe path, your entire life will be hinging upon the fact that what if I just took that chance? What if I just put myself out there? What if I just pursued that goal? What if I just pursued that dream? What could I have been if I just tried? And this is essentially what Robert Frost is saying right here is that he took that route. He took the non-safe route of trying to become an artist, of trying to become a writer, of trying to do something that really doesn't reward you. I've written a whole lot of stuff and I haven't been rewarded for it, and I don't know if I ever will be, but does that make me want to stop? Does that make me want to give up? No, no. In fact, it just tells me that what I'm doing has such more depth to it because, it's the things that we do without the praise of others that really, really matter. If you need somebody to tell you're good at something for you to derive value from it, then that's a hollow reward because all that is you going out into the world to seek success, to seek recognition, so that one day you can look in the mirror and look at yourself and say, all these people said I'm good, so now that I'm good. So because all of these people told me that I was this, I was that, I was that, now I can finally look in the mirror and say I like myself. All the outward striving in the world is so that you can finally accept yourself, but none of it will ever replace that self-acceptance that comes with following your own path, that comes with taking the road less traveled. And that is the importance of this poem. That is the greatness of this poem because it uses such a simple story, it uses such a simple metaphor to explain the Faustian bargain. You know, the devil doesn't sell you, you don't sell your soul to the devil in one action. Maybe you do in Frankenstein or in Faust or in those mythoses, but we sell our souls every single day when we sell ourselves short, when we sacrifice our authenticity, when we sacrifice our morality, when we sacrifice our actual values for the sake of comfort. We take a job that is against what we believe. We do something that we don't agree with for the sake of fitting in. We sacrifice our comfort. We sacrifice ourselves for the sake of comfort. We sacrifice ourselves for the sake of conformity. And that truly is the dealing your soul to the devil. That is the Faustian bargain. That is the issue that we're faced with on a daily basis. And we have to understand that when you take the road less traveled, it might mean that the world is against you. It might mean that everything is now your enemy. It might mean that you have to struggle and fight and do all of these things, but it's better to be yourself than to be somebody else. It's better to be exactly who you are meant to be, following your own authenticity than living your life as somebody else. In fact, our true burden in this world is to be ourselves at all times. That is really the only thing that we can do that's noteworthy. Everything else is just a derivative form of trying to act like somebody else, you know. It's like trying to live up to your very successful father's shoes. It's like, you know, anything I do in the same field as my dad, I'm never going to really step out for my own until I step out for my own. If I take every single step that he took, then I am just a carbon copy of him. And why should I strive for that? Why should that be my end goal? And, you know, just start thinking of these questions. And this is really the beauty of poetry. I feel like I'm going to continue to do this because it's really fun, really easy to do. And I think is in some ways more interesting than some of the other videos I make. So, yeah, stay tuned for the rest of this series. And this is The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. See you guys.